Okay, hi. This video is going to be a bit different than what I usually put up. First off, I did my phone sideways, so my videos don't look like that. I noticed that just now. Anyway, so I guess it's a new phone. So it's a camera phone. Today's topic I've decided is going to be about self-injury. I know that's a sensitive topic for a lot of people, so I guess this is a warning, trigger warning or something, that's what I'm going to talk about. I mean, I'm not really talking about anything too triggering until later. I don't know, it depends. Anyways, just know this is what I'm talking about for the whole video. Anyways, I myself have had problems with self-injury since I was 12. I'm 26, almost 27 now, getting old. And it has pretty much been a constant thing pretty much ever since then. There have been times when I haven't been doing it as much. Like I could go months and months without doing it. And then there are times when I'm like doing it every day for like weeks and months on end. I mean, and what really kind of sucks, the worst part about that, besides the fact that it's a very harmful thing to do, is that it leaves a lot of scars. I have them everywhere. The ones that are really bad have been able to not cover up some, but like lighten them so they're not as noticeable. But they're never going to go away. So you can still notice them if you're looking hard enough, or actually you don't have to look too terribly hard. I've had random people asked me, like, oh, what happened to your arms? Because, it's really hot, okay? I live in the deep south in Alabama. It gets really friggin' hot here. So I don't want to have to wear long sleeves all the time. And sometimes I want to go out with, like, a tank top like this that I'm wearing now. Generally, my response, which is really kind of stupid, but it gets people to think, man, that bitch is crazy, I don't want to talk to her anymore, so it kind of gets people to go away, is to say that I fell asleep and the clowns got me. I read that off a list somewhere, and I just really liked it, so that is my general response. Or, now, that's not any of your damn business now, is it? Something to that effect, because I don't really like being, it's not that I'm not ashamed of it, but I don't want it to be brought to attention. I'm sure there are plenty of people who notice it and don't say anything, which I think is cool of them, to not say something about it. Now I know there are a lot of videos on here that about covering and fading scars, so I'm not really going to go over that too much, although the three I recommend is bleaching cream, cocoa butter, and vitamin E oil. All that helps to diminish the appearance of scars, and it's helped me a lot. Anyways, I guess I'm going to talk a bit about my story. Like I said, it started when I was 12, and the first incident was kind of weird or something. My mom had been going on her honeymoon with my stepdad, and our grandmother was taking care of us, and we were going to a church event. And it was like a dinner type deal, with, Catholic church events and stuff. And I remember started to scratch my arm, like just scratching my arm, the same spot. I was wearing long sleeves, so like I would reach and just start scratching, and then start scratching the other side, and it got to be like where I was like it didn't start to bleed, but it started to get kind of gross. Anyways, I won't go into that. Also on that day, I remember I was trying to get my younger sister to eat stuff. Because, I said before I have an eating disorder, and it was, starting to go on when I was about 12. It was about when that started as well. I was like, you want some cake, or do you want some more of this? And, and kept bringing my sister food. I don't know why. I guess that made me feel better that my sister was eating, but I didn't have to. It's more like, well, I'll let her eat my food for me. I don't know. I was 12. So, it didn't take too long for it to go into escalating into cutting. it was probably about 13, I guess. The first time I took this weird serrated knife and ended up, like, on my hand. I don't know why I did it on my hand, because that's a very obvious spot, but then again, I was 13. But afterwards, like that, I started, not really learning, but started trying to hide it a little more in different places that were not my hand. And I think it was about 14 or 15 that I started actually using a razor blade. And it just kind of progressed from there. A lot of the times it would be sort of like a punishment if I ate too much or I gained too much weight. Then I would do it. And then sometimes if I was just feeling bad about it, and it got to be sort of addictive. My worst time was in high school, is when it was the worst. Hatchet, it's my dog. Move in the way. Anyways, yeah, it was in high school. It was probably when it was the worst, and when I moved out in undergrad, it was also getting pretty bad. There was this one incident where I had to get stitches, which was not fun. The stitches were not fun. I don't actually remember doing it, because I had taken a certain number of medication. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention it or not. Ant. There's an ant right there. I had taken too much of that. It was a benzo. Fuck it. I took too much Klonopin, okay? I don't remember the exact amount, but it was a lot to where I didn't really remember, and I wake up, and it's like, I'm like, it looked like somebody had died or something. The whole bed was covered in blood. And then I'd look at my leg, and it was a hot mess. Like, ripped up, and like, nastiness. And it was not a pretty scene, and I was, like, panicking a bit, because I was like, I don't remember doing this, and it's really, really bad. So my boyfriend at the time took me to the emergency room. I called him up and said, dude, this is what happened. Not cool. We need to do something about this, because I definitely need to stitch that up. Because I could barely walk. So they took me to the ER. I went back, and they gave me 10 stitches, something like that. And it hurt like a bitch, dude. Like first off, they stick the needle actually into the wound, and then I don't know if any of you ever got stitches, but it sucks. You know, the needle's to numb it. So honestly, the stitching up of the self-injury wounds hurt more than the self-injury itself. Go figure. And, you know, I was 20 years old, you know, legal adult, but as you can probably guess, I had to stay into the psych ward because they would not let me leave. And that was the 4th time I had to go into the hospital. After that, it didn't get that bad. I still had the urge, and I still do have the urge to do it, still quite frequently, especially since I've been having trouble with depression lately. I'm trying really hard not to, because, you know, I've gone, I think it could be close to a year without doing it, because I don't remember doing it in the apartment I live in, and I've lived here for about a little over a year. So I think it has been about a year since I've done it, and I like don't want to mess that up, because it's like, oh, it's been that long, and then I got to start over in a year so long. So I'm trying really hard not to do it. And I guess I really didn't go into like the reasoning as to why I do it. It, you know, it releases tension, and, you know, it like relaxes me, and it's like, if I'm feeling horrible and all this stuff is building up inside of me, I'm really anxious, when I do that, it just feels better. But, of course, in the long run, it's just not better, because it's only a temporary thing. I might feel better for that point in time, but then I got to deal with the aftermath, you know, got to clean up, and I have a whole ritual thing with it. A lot of people do. I'm not going to go into that, because I don't think that's appropriate, about how I go about it. And, oh, and here's another weird thing. I don't think it's too weird. I'm sure this happens with a lot of people who have self-injury problems, is that I like the healing process of having to take care of the wound and, you know, making sure it's clean. And I don't know, I kind of like feeling fresh cuts on my legs or arms. I know that's weird, but maybe not too weird to people who know what I'm talking about. Yep. So that's one thing about self-injury I guess is kind of interesting. Anyways, I think this video is getting kind of long enough. I might make another one about self-injury, maybe one about safety, because, you know, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. That's just the fact. You know, you be realistic about it. I know that people who have problems with self-injury, that they're going to end up doing it, you know. Hopefully they don't, but, you know, it happens. And I think you need to know how to do it safely. If, you know, that makes sense. Like, have a, like, I guess the first aid kit, or make sure you have stuff on hand for first aid, just in case something bad happens. But I might make another video about that, because this one's getting kind of long, I guess. Anyways, that's about it for now about self-injury. I might make another one later. Alright, bye guys.